So today's class is life in balance. And today specifically, I want to talk about where to begin. Where to begin in living a life in balance. And I think even more specifically looking at where to begin today in taking care of not only yourself and treating yourself in a caring, loving, compassionate way, but also considering what that looks like and means for your community, your family, the world at large. And this feels really important this week in particular, or just during this time of life in particular, because there's a lot going on in our world. There's literally, for the past few months, life has changed pretty drastically. We've been staying at home or quarantining and things like that. There's, in the past several days and weeks, and honestly years, it's not a new thing. There's been a lot of violence and police brutality and racism. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of division in the world, and specifically our country. If you're in the United States, there's a lot of division, and like you versus me, them versus us. And that feels really important to talk about, because we are all in this together. We live on the same planet, and we all wish for ourselves what other people wish for too, for love and kindness and compassion, for health. And so I want to spend some time reflecting on how we want to treat ourselves, how we would like to show up for our family members, how we want to show up for our community and the world, reflecting on challenges and creating some actionable things that we can do to be loving and kind and compassionate and respectful to ourselves and to all people. How does that sound? Hi, Octavia. Glad you're here. So that's in a nutshell what we'll be talking about today, is where to begin in living a life where we're taking good care of ourselves, our family, our neighbors, our community, and the world. The challenges and how we want to go forward. And so I'm going to start with a reading from one of my favorite authors. It's called Where to Begin by Cleo Wade. And a little snippet about the book is it's essentially a book about your power to create big change in our world. And that's important. So this is a rather long poem. It is a long poem. So kick back and get comfortable. Where to begin? This is for you and me and us. We are the builders who are building a world that has never been built before. I'll show you some of the pages. The writing is small. The world will say to you, be a better person. Do not be afraid to say yes. Start by being a better listener. Start by being better at walking down the street. See people. Say hello. Ask how they were doing and listen to what they say to you. Start by being a better friend, a better parent, a better child to your parents, a better sibling, a better lover, a better partner. Start by being a better neighbor. Meet someone you do not know and get to know them. The world will say to you, what are you going to do? Do not be afraid to say, I can't do everything, but I can do something. Walk into more rooms saying, I'm here to help. Become intimate with generosity. Give what you can give and do what you can do. Give dollars, give cents, give your time, give your heart, give your spirit. The world will say to you, we need peace. Find your peace within. Hold it sacred. Bring it with you everywhere you go. Peace cannot be shared or created with others if you cannot first generate it within. The world will say to you, they are the enemy. Love enough to know that just because someone disagrees with you does not make them your enemy. I'm going to repeat that one. The world will say to you, they are the enemy. Love enough to know that just because someone disagrees with you does not mean that they are your enemy. You may not win an argument. You may not change a mind. But if you choose to, you can always achieve the triumph of radical empathy and understanding of your heart. The world will say to you, we need justice. Investigate. Find truth beyond the stories that are told. Find truth beyond the way things seem. Ask why. Ask, is this fair? Ask, how did we get here? Do this with compassion. Do this with forgiveness. Learn to forgive others. Start by truly learning how to forgive yourself. We are all more than our mistakes. We are all more than who we were yesterday. We are all deserving of our dignity. see yourself in others. Recognize that your justice is my justice, and my justice is yours. There can be no liberation for one of us if the other is not free. The world will say to you, I am violent. Respond by saying, I am not. Not with my words, not with my actions. The world will say to you, we need to heal the planet. Start by saying, no, thank you. I don't need a plastic bag. Recycle, reuse. Start by picking up one piece of trash. The world will say to you, there are too many problems. Do not be afraid to be a part of the solutions. Start by discussing the issues. We cannot overcome what we ignore. We cannot overcome what we ignore. The more we talk about things, the more we see that the issues are connected, because we are connected. The world will say to you, we need to end racism. Start by healing it in your own family. The world will say, how do we speak to bias and bigotry? Start by having the first conversation at your own kitchen table. The world will say to you, there's too much hate. Devote yourself to love. Love yourself so much that you can love others without barriers and without judgment. When the world asks us big questions that require big answers, we have two options. One, to feel so overwhelmed or unqualified that we do nothing. Two, to begin, to start with one small act and to qualify ourselves. I am the Director of National Security, and so are you. Sure. No one appointed us, and there were no Senate confirmations, but we can secure a nation. When we help just one person to be more secure, our nation is more secure. With just one outstretched hand that says, are you okay? I'm here for you. We have the power to transform insecurity to security. We find ourselves saying to the world, what do we do? What can I do? The better question might be, how am I showing up? I ask the world for peace, but do I show up with peace when I see my family and friends? I ask the world to put a stop to hatred. But do I show up with love for not only those I know, but for those I do not know? Do I show up with love for those whose ideas conflict with my own? I ask the world to end suffering, but do I show up for those who are suffering on my street corner? We say to the world, please change. We need change. But how do we show up to change our own lives? How do we show up to change the lives of the people in our communities? James Baldwin said, everything now, we must assume, is in our hands. We have no right to assume otherwise. And this has always been true. No one nominated Harriet Tubman to her purpose, to her courage, or her mission. She did not say, I'm not a congressperson or president, so how could I possibly participate in the fight to abolish a system such as big as slavery? She instead spent 10 years making 19 trips, freeing 300 people, one person at a time. Think about the children of those 300 people, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, and beyond. Our righteous acts can create immeasurable ripples in the endless river of justice. Whether it was Hurricane Katrina, Harvey, Irma, or Maria, people did not say, there's so much damage, what can we even do? They got in their boats and started loading in every woman, man, child, person they came across. One by one. They gave their dollars, they gave their cents, they gave their time, they gave their heart, and they gave their spirit. We spend so much time thinking that we don't have the power to change the world. We forget that the power to change someone's life is always in our hands. We all have the power to relieve someone's pain with our embrace, and lessen someone's suffering with our kindness. Change making does not belong to one group of people. Change making belongs to all of us. You do not have to wait for anyone to tell you that you are in this. You don't have to wait around wondering what you should do. Get to work on what you can do. The time has always been now. Begin. Start by doing what you can with what you've got, where you are, and in your own way. We don't have to be heroes, wear a uniform. We don't have to call ourselves activists or get elected to participate. We just have to be brave enough to care. Where to begin? If you are watching live, or if you're watching this as a replay, take a moment and let that poem, that reading, to digest, if you will. If anything came up for yourself as you were listening, write in the comments and let me know. I wonder how that felt to hear, if any messages came up for you, if something resonated. Checking in the comments now. Let's see. Yeah, got a bunch of yeses. And someone sharing that's part of recovery. Yeah. So the poem I shared talked a lot about what's going on in the world, the questions that we often come up with, and like this in terms of the challenges or problems, issues, injustices that we feel. Sometimes we get really stuck as people of wondering what we can even do. And by wondering what we can even do, sometimes we get stuck in inaction. By issues being so big, it can be hard to know what we as a single person can do. And in this light, we're challenged to just begin, to begin wherever we can, to do the things that we can do, that we can control. And that looks like how we take care of ourselves, how we take care of our family, the world, our community. That can feel really heavy to wonder what to do. And so here we're going to just begin. Checking in the comments, I see a lot of you are sharing that it's challenging. Just being in the world right now is challenging. There's a lot happening, and it's hard to control anger. It's hard to control how we feel. And we often ask, how can we help others, or what we can do. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. One moment, you guys. Great. So if you don't have your pen and paper ready, grab it now. Where to begin? Living in a way that is loving to yourself, your community, and the world. So if you don't have your notebook, paper, whatever it is that you're going to be writing on, grab that now. We're going to take some time to reflect on our personal challenges, challenges that come up in our families, our community, and the world. We're going to start with reflecting on issues, problems, challenges that we ourselves individually experience, our families, our communities, the world. And then we're going to create a list of almost like an action plan of the things that you yourself can do to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, the community, and the world. So I'll be sharing my screen probably for the rest of this class. Grab your notebook, we'll be using that. If you want to share any of these reflections as they come up, write those in the comments and I'll be checking whether you're live or if you're watching the replay. And additionally, share if you want to share. If you've got questions, ask me questions, again, live or replay. So, where we're beginning today. Reflection. What needs attention? What challenges did you face in this past year in health, work, and love? What challenges are you facing right now? What challenges did your community face? The world? What's not working? What needs to change? What's at stake if nothing changes? So, we're starting with this reflection. Ask yourself, consider your greatest challenges in this past year and right now. Consider your greatest challenges in this past year and right now. I encourage you first to write these on your paper. Take a moment to reflect here independently. And then if you feel like sharing, you might do that in the comments. I'm going to be quiet now so you have some time to write. Feel free to write done when you're finished with this prompt. Going to make the font a little bit bigger. As you finish with this prompt, you might continue on. What's at stake for you if this doesn't change? What's at stake for you if this doesn't change? Take your time. And again, I first encourage you to reflect on your own, on some paper, and then if you feel like sharing that and having a discussion here with me, write it in the comments and let me know. finish thinking on this. If you need more time, know that you can come back to it. So zooming out, we first looked at our own individual challenges, and now we'll consider what your family and or your community is facing right now. What challenges are your family and community facing right now? And if you're still on one of the other prompts, that's okay. Again, I'm going to be silent for a few moments, and allow you to take this time for reflection. If you have questions, if you want to share anything, please interact in the comments. I'll be here. As you finish that first portion, reflecting on challenges that your family and community are facing, consider what's at stake if we don't find a solution for these challenges. What's at stake? If you're still reflecting on that, all good. I will share the rest of my screen, our last reflection portion, what challenges the world and planet has faced and is still facing. So we've slowly been building outward, looking at the challenges we face as individuals, what's at stake if we don't find a solution, the challenges we face in our families and our community, and then the world. So we're slowly zooming out. The next piece of that is what's at stake for the world, the planet, if this doesn't change. Take your time wherever you're at in this process. And if you're just tuning in, we're taking some time to reflect on challenges that we're facing as individuals in our community and the world at large. Whether you're just tuning in, watching a replay, take some time to reflect here. And I'll probably give about a minute more of reflection time. And it's okay if some of these are hard to answer, if you're unsure. All right. Several of you guys have been commenting in. Thanks for sharing. It's nice to see you following along and being vulnerable and honest with yourself and being vulnerable, brave, courageous to share them. Thank you. And I see you. Checking in. Yeah. So shifting from our reflection in the challenges that we're facing and then looking at where do we begin, right? That question of what can I even do? How do I help? How can I create change? Now we'll look at specific ideas of how you can do that. And just like how we reflected, we started first with ourselves. We'll do that here too. And so, first, taking a moment, 5 actions you can do to take care of yourself on a regular basis. Five things you can do to take care of yourself. And you might view that as taking care of yourself. Self-care is a big buzzword. To look after yourself. 5 things to live in a healthy way. However you want to frame it, to live in balance. What can you do? Share 5 things. And first do that on your own paper. And then if you want to share one or all of them, you're welcome to share them in the comments. Feel free to share any of those in the comments. You may or may not be ready to move on. Whoops. You may or may not be ready to move on. The next one would be 5 actions you can take for your community this year. 5 ways, 5 things that you can do for your community. That could be your family, people at PRN, the people that you see on a regular basis. Know that these may include money, like donating or buying something, but they very well and probably don't. Not bad if they do, but don't get caught up in necessarily the money aspect or feeling like you don't have money and so there's nothing you could do. When we're looking at taking care of your community, that could be asking someone how they're doing, sending an email or a text or calling someone just to say, hey, I was thinking about you, to tell a stranger that you care about them, to look them in the eye and say, hey, there's so many things. They could be small, they could be big, just like with yourself. So reflecting first on 5 actions you can take for yourself, the community. There we go. Feel free to share if you'd like to share. And even if you're sitting there and having trouble thinking of things, that could be your share. You can admit that. And we can brainstorm together if you need help brainstorming. The next piece is 5 actions that you can take for the world or planet this year. These can be big things, small things, everything in between. Our focus today is focusing on what we can do, what we're capable of doing, as opposed to getting caught up in that I'm one person, what can I even do? Can I make a difference? Focusing on what we can do. And some of these might be easy that you could do today. Some might take more planning and research, and you might need support in doing them. 5 things you can take, things you can do to take. I need to change some editing there. There we go. 5 things you can do to take care of the world or planet this year. This will be our last prompt. This will be our last prompt. Know that you don't have to have 5 on each one right now. Maybe you have more than 5. Whether you have less or more, you're fine exactly as you are. And you can take more time on this. And I really encourage you to take more time on this later. As we begin to wrap up, please, if you feel like you have any questions or any concerns at all from things that came up today, drop those in the comments so that I can support you. If there's anything you'd like to share, whether it's these prompts that we've been looking at, or if you have any thoughts, ideas that you want to share, something that you feel like you need to say, a message that I or the PRN community need to hear or know, write those in the comment, whether you're live or watching the replay. I'll be checking in. I'm gonna check in on the comments and see some of the things that you guys have been sharing. Okay. Fantastic. So it looks like here it's things that you can do to take care of yourself. Here's some of the shares. Money management, look for a new job, get out more, look for a new place to live, healthy eating, and exercise. Wonderful. Those are all great things to do to take good care of yourself. Another share is, one thing I can do and should do for my own health is to look for the positive in every situation. That is really helpful. It's okay to and important to acknowledge hardship and challenge. And it's also important to look for and find the positive or the lessons in every situation. And sometimes that's really challenging to do. Here are things that some of you have shared that you are committed to doing to take care of your community. Participate in a city cleanup. Yeah, wonderful. Attend city community meetings. Yeah. Call friends and family. Volunteer at a local homeless shelter. And these look like things that someone wants to dedicate to as well for themselves. Having a morning and evening meditation or calm down and reflective time. Eating a healthy breakfast and planning meals and planning these meals in an effort to avoid emotional eating. Dance and journal and create art every day. Some more are get out the vote, letters to editor, and petition to get the sewer hooked up. Here's some items for the world, things that you guys are committed to doing to take care of our world, our planet. Recycle, do not litter, plant trees, shop local, make and use reusable items like produce bags instead of the plastic ones, always carrying a reusable straw or bottle. Those are all wonderful ideas. I would love to continue to see a stream of some ideas of how you are going to commit to taking care of yourself, your family, your community, and the world and the planet. I have today's class as a downloadable worksheet. If you would like that, please write in the comments and tag me so that I know to include you in that. And in just a few minutes, I'll share that link in the comments as well. but do be sure to write that in the comments so I can directly reach out to you so that it's available. I am really glad that you spent your afternoon with me, and I'll be teaching this not next Friday, but the one following. I teach yoga for PRN here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I have a grief support group here at PRN every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. And that one's a closed group that's held on Zoom. For that one, you have a little bit of a registration process, but it's very simple. That's also something, if you want more information about, write me in the comments and I'll open that line of communication. All right, I see some of you guys requesting the worksheet. I'll be sure to drop that here. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I want to open it up. If you have any requests of topics that you would like to dive in with me in our next Life in Balance session or an upcoming Life in Balance session, let me know. Reach out to me and share that with me. I would love to hear the topics you'd like to discuss and work on together. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, be kind, be well, and I hope to see you guys again soon. See you later.